Hey, welcome to Table Tennis Philosophy. I've got a question today from Bruce Downs, and his question is, he'd like to get my opinion on when you should play to your opponent's weaknesses or should you play with your strengths. And interesting question, and there might be some difference of opinion on this, but let me put it this way. You can't change your entire approach to playing. You do have to use your strengths. That's definitely true. So within reason, you should always use your strengths. But there are times when you won't be able to do it, and your strengths aren't what's going to be successful against that particular opponent. So my personal philosophy is you always play to your opponent's weaknesses, and that can be the difference between winning and losing a match for sure. I can just off the top of my head think of several opponents that if I played to their strengths, I'm going to lose. If I play to their weaknesses, I usually win. And that means that every time you play somebody, you have to quickly figure out what their weaknesses are. Now, there's some players, they may be at a level where you feel like they don't have any obvious weaknesses, but it's all relative. You've got to figure out if they're that much better a player, how can you survive against them? What will allow you to have a chance to get a point? And you have to figure out what their weaknesses are. Another problem is, say you play the same opponent frequently and it takes you a game to remember that, oh, this is not the way to play them, that I have to play them a particular way. And one of the ways that you can make sure you're able to play to your opponent's weaknesses and use your strengths is to have a well-rounded game so that you have options, that your whole game isn't built around one thing, and if it's not working, then you're in trouble. So if you can be strong with your top spin game and have good serves, good serve return, be able to place your shots and serve returns, have some ability to do some different things, then you can be successful against a much wider range of opponents. If your whole game is built around pushing, then you're going to be in trouble against a lot of players, even though it may work against certain players. If your whole game is built around a particular serve, or maybe you have a strong service game, but you're going to need more than that. I am kind of talking to you here, Bruce, because I know how good your serves are, but I also know that when people return them, that evens the playing field very quickly. As good as your serves are, you need to know what to do when those serves come back. And so well, speaking of serves, let's talk about that. If you find a serve that's working particularly well against that one opponent, don't abandon it. Make sure you make a note of it and use it. Maybe not every time, but use it as often as you can and to keep it effective. And so it might be that certain opponents are very weak against short underspin serves to their forehand. That's a serve that I use frequently. Or they may have a tough time with side top spin serves that are long. Whatever that is, you have to figure out their weaknesses against your particular strong serves. And if you've got a variety of serves and they're all good, just remember that they won't all be good against all opponents. You might have some that are really, really good, and that would be a good idea to make sure you use those often. All right, so you have to have a well-rounded game. You can't change your style completely every time you play somebody, but if you have that well-rounded game, you can adapt and play to your opponent's weaknesses. All right, hope that somewhat answered your question, Bruce, and we'll see you next time.